Hello, in this presentation we will go through QuickBooks help features within QuickBooks Pro 2018. If you've been following along with us, we will be continuing with the Get Great Guitars problem. If not, that's okay. We're going to look through the help features within QuickBooks Pro 2018. If you have the backup file, you can restore the backup file by going to the File tab and restore the backup as we've seen in a prior presentation. We have the Open Windows list here, open. In order to open the Open Windows list, select the lists. Select the view and the Open Windows list. The only open window being the home page at this point. To open the home page, go to the Company tab and Home page. Typically, the starting point of every presentation will be the home page here. We're going to look at the help items within QuickBooks Pro. It's going to be useful to see the help that is available within QuickBooks, and note that there's a lot of help outside of QuickBooks as well, because QuickBooks is such a large program that's used by many people. We can find support if we just did, say, a Google search on a particular topic, some of it being good, some of it being not so good, some of it being current, some of it being not so current. But we can often find a lot of information, a lot more than we may be able to find from some other softwares just because of the widespread use of QuickBooks, and that could be very useful. There's also a lot of support with people that are knowledgeable within QuickBooks that could provide support, and again, probably more so within QuickBooks than other types of software, just because of the amount of use and the number of companies that are using the QuickBooks support. So keep that in mind. We're going to look here at the support within the QuickBooks program. If you wanted to contact QuickBooks specifically to get QuickBooks support from Intuit, say over the phone, you typically have to pay for that type of support. So we're going to look at the report that's going to be within QuickBooks, the stuff that they have, the forms they have set up, the help desk that they have set up, and just note that there's also a lot of support out there with people, the professionals that are experts within QuickBooks that you can seek help from. And there's folks there's a lot of information that you could do searches on. If you have a particular question about a particular function, you may be able to find that through searching around in terms of a Google search somewhere outside of just the QuickBooks program. We're going to look at the Help tab up here. A lot of information in the Help tab. We're going to select first the QuickBooks Desktop Help, which can also be found if we select F1. And it looks like this. And it looks like the normal search feature. So if we were to type something in here, we'd have the normal search item. If I wanted a question about an invoice of some kind, then we're going to get the hyperlink type of list saying find an invoice, about an invoice, troubleshooting invoice problems. I'm going to choose that one. Troubleshooting invoice problems. Invoice didn't change after customizing it. Change a reoccurring memorized invoice. Can I create an invoice from a purchase order? We're going to do that later. That's going to be good. So we got that there. Okay, so that's that. We're going to actually use this later on to set up the manual payroll. And so just give us a preview of what will happen when we do that. It's going to be exciting. Keep us motivated. It's going to type in manual payroll. And there's going to be many different payroll options as we've discussed a little bit, and we'll discuss more later. But we can set up the manual payroll through QuickBooks, and it has a nice process in order to do that. So here it is. It's process payroll manually. If we select that icon that says without a subscription to QuickBooks Desktop Payroll, which means we're not going to pay any money for it. So if we select that, then we have the manual set up, and it's actually very useful to do that because we get to actually put in the withholding amounts manually and calculate them and really see what is actually going on rather than just having them populate automatically when you pay for it like that. So it's good to practice with, so we'll see that later. That's one of the searching options we have here. So it's a pretty useful searching option that we have, and you're going to go through here, anything with a hyperlink. Those are the types of things that we can jump to. I'm going to scroll this and close this and see what else we have within the help dropdown. We've got the new features here, so the new features in 2018. We'll take a look at these at a later presentation, or at least a few of them. The dual screen is one of the great new features. If you have two screens that you're currently plugged into on your computer, you can now have two screens availability, and that's very useful. Where some of these other icons here are options we will take a look at later. So, but if you want to go through those, they are available there. I'm going to close this back out. Going to go back to the Help tab. We also have the Support. It looks a bit different than the QuickBooks Desktop Help. If we select that, then we can type in something like Payroll. Once again, to see the contrasting of that. And we get some more options, something like we have some videos sometimes within the payroll. So here's like a video here. So you get some different types of format that would from Help than you would just from the normal Help search screen, which can be very useful. Going back to the Help drop-down, see what else we have within the Help drop-down. That's the Support. Find local QuickBooks desktop expert. So you could look for, search through the expert. You may have to pay for expert help, but like I say, there is a big community of people that are experts within QuickBooks. Send feedback online, so you can send the feedback. Internet connection setup. New business checklist. If we go through the checklists, we have a nice checklist of what QuickBooks would think to be what we need to go through to set up a new business. Could be very useful to see what QuickBooks thinks. So I would think if we're going through a new business, we could go through these items, conceive your business, structure your business, prepare all necessary forms, fund your business. This goes a bit outside of QuickBooks, or a lot outside of QuickBooks just in terms of setting up QuickBooks, but it is a useful checklist to have and one that's worth going through if we're setting up a business just to see if we've got everything checked off, ready to go. We've got the Help tab, back to the Help drop-down. We've got the year-end guide, also quite useful, the year-end being a great and exciting time for the bookkeeping process. We have the task to prepare for filing taxes, so we've got things such as reconcile all the bank accounts, verify petty cash, make your year-end accrual adjustments, close your books, adjust the retained earnings, and all that great stuff. And then, of course, we've got the 1099s and the payroll. So we'll take a look at more of some of those options, some of those things that we get to do at the end of the year as we go through our project. More items in the drop-down. If we scroll down, we got the Add QuickBooks Services. So if there's something within QuickBooks, like an add-on that we need to add to the QuickBooks features, then we can look through this icon, something like payroll or something that we need to update with. App Center, find more business solutions. So you can look through the App Center. Update the QuickBooks desktop. So if we have a current version and we're looking to update the QuickBooks, we could then look through that option. Manage my license, buy additional user license, sync license data online. So we might want, if we're thinking about our licensing options, of course, we can go through these options here. Buy QuickBooks Desktop Premier. That's going to be a different version of QuickBooks. So there's going to be basically 3 types of versions. And if we thought we needed a step up, then we can go through this option to do so. Reset Intuit ID settings. QuickBooks Desktop Privacy Statement, if we want to take a look at what that was. About automatic updates, we can tell you what the automatic updates do. QuickBooks is a program that's going to update all the time. So every once in a while when you open it, it's probably a lot when you open it. It's going to say, do you want to update the file? And it's good to allow the updates from time to time. If you do allow the updates, when you allow the updates, note that even if you have the same version of a backup file within QuickBooks, you might have to update the file, to open up a backup file that was done before the update had happened. But any backup file that's a QuickBooks file that is 2018 and usually before, we can update to the current version no matter what the backup option is. QuickBooks Desktop Usage and Analytics Study, and about QuickBooks Desktop Pro 2018 might be something worth taking a look at and going through here. And that'll be it for the help options.